afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. This is Joe from Independent Blazers. Please like, subscribe, share the video, and bang the notification button. Today, I'm going to talk to you about why I left the United States of America. And there are a few reasons. The first one is I wanted to get out of the rat race. A little bit about myself. I'm retired from the U.S. Navy. I did over 20 years. When I got out of the Navy, I contracted for 5 years. And even though I was making good money, I was working a lot of hours. And I found myself just working, and that was it. And in the contracting industry, when the company loses the contract, you have to reapply. And I was in management for the particular company I work in. So I was working 70, 80 hours a week, more, and sometimes even more. And I was not living life to its full potential. And when you're not living life to its full potential, sometimes you need to make a change. So the first reason is it's the rat race. The second reason is one thing in the U.S. Navy, you're constantly traveling. You're constantly going. And when I started seeing these other countries, places like Italy, I was going to Greece, going to Paris, going to Thailand, the Philippines, and Cambodia. I really started seeing a world that was opening up to me. And I found these cultures extremely fascinating. And every time I'd have to leave one of these ports or one of these places I liked, I had a really sad feeling. So I knew even from a young age that I wanted to see the world. And so since I was 18 years old, I've had this desire to travel and to experience new things. And I knew that my life was going to be more than just being in America. So the first reason is I wanted to get out of the rat race. I wanted to live life. I got tired of just working to live. And the people around me were like walking zombies. And I don't say that in a derogatory term by any means, but people were just getting by. And I didn't want that for me. I didn't want that for my life. And then in the Navy, and the second reason, when I got the travel bug, a lot of these countries, I thought to myself, gee, I can actually live here. I can actually good here. I like it. And reason number 3 is the political divide in the United States. Politics has gotten crazy. And it didn't just happen overnight. A couple decades ago, this divide started. It's just gotten worse and worse and worse. And in America, it's gotten to the point where you can't even talk to no one, or you can't even disagree with no one anymore, no matter what side of the aisle they were on. And it got to that point where it's like, well, what is going on here? People were so miserable. Got to the point where you couldn't have a conversation. And to emphasize in reason 3, I'm not saying every American's like this, but a portion of them are. And sometimes the minority can be super loud. And I don't care what side of the political spectrum you lean on. It was becoming increasingly harder and harder to talk to people about anything. It got to the point where you're afraid of every time you're opening your mouth, you are offending somebody. The fourth reason, cancel culture. Even though today, as of this video, it looks like it's dying out a little bit. At the time, once again, it was like when you're speaking and you have to constantly watch what you're saying, that's not free speech. And let me give you some observations of what I've seen in the United States. I spent 4 months there last year on personal family business. I see inflation, prices out of control. I see people barely trying to stay above water to survive. People can't afford to buy a home, even a startup home. Even in Florida, where I'm a resident of right now, back in the United States, people are having trouble affording a home, finding a living wage. There's people, you've always heard, well, work hard, do the right thing, and the American dream is there. But for a lot of people, they did that, and the American dream has slipped away. I know that doesn't sound popular to some people, but I could tell you I have friends who've worked hard all their life. They paid their taxes. They contributed to society, and they cannot afford to retire. Since 2010, every year there's been an increase of people leaving the United States and becoming expats. People seem unhappy. Some people can't even afford a grocery bill or to pay the electric bill. Crime in the major cities has gone up. When I was in California, I couldn't believe in Los Angeles the homeless encampments I saw. And look, and to be fair, in Florida, I saw homelessness there too. In New York, when I was in the airport just to buy some beef jerky, it cost me nearly $15 a bag of beef jerky. People are struggling, and when I saw when struggling produces misery, and I'm blessed, I'll admit, to have the means to where I was able to make this move. But not everyone has that means to do it. I think I'm living life more fully, and I'm living more life for less money. The fifth reason, and this reason is personal, and I'm not going to give you this reason to garner sympathy or anything, because I'm getting along just fine. But real quick, at my 18, 19-year mark in the U.S. Navy, I was diagnosed with spectrum autism as an adult. And they let me stay in over 20 years, but eventually I had to get out. And it was affecting my life in minor ways. Long story short, I had trouble on certain jobs. My last job in the Navy, I was working for a company, and when the company was losing the contract, I left. And this reason I decided to leave the U.S. was to improve my mental health, to help my autism. Mental health is a big deal, and where I'm at now, I believe, has improved my mental health, has helped my autistic symptoms. I still have them, but I think Thailand has helped, and we'll talk about Thailand more in a future video, but this was the most important reason I left the U.S. I thought I needed a change to help treat myself, to give myself some therapy, and to improve my mental health outlook. When I was diagnosed with spectrum autism, long story short, I always knew something was wrong with me, whether it was hand twitching, doing this, or rocking my head. But I was able to survive in the Navy all those years with it. And as I got older, some of the symptoms got a little worse. But again, I don't say this for sympathy, but this was the most important reason I decided to leave the U.S. I thought a change of country, a change of scenery, and a change of culture would help my autism and my mental health. And this here is the most important reason that I left. And what I want to say to you before departing from this video is, whatever you're going through in life and you feel that you need to make a change, sometimes the best thing to do is to change your course of action. Don't be afraid to make changes. Don't be afraid to make yourself happy, and don't be afraid to try something new. Because remember this, it is better to have failed and tried than to have not tried at all. Sometimes life is about taking risk and taking chances. So that's why I left the U.S. And in closing, I will always be an American. If America needed me, I would always be there. America's still a great country. I just felt I needed a change. And I don't know what the future holds, but right now, I'm currently happy where I'm at. I hope this video helps you. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and bang the notification button wherever you're at. God bless. Take care.